डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar dear students, I Dr. Himanshu Patel welcome you all for the session on working with Firebase in Flutter. Now let us try to understand first app which is a Firestore db.dart. Before understanding these code, I want to run these inside emulator so that you can better understand how it works. So I am clicking on run to launch that app inside my emulator. So now it is running inside my emulator. Here you can see the list of users already added. If I want to change or edit these users, I can click on edit button. It will display edit and then I can click on save button to make changes. So now it is changed to new value. So this is how you can edit. Suppose you want to delete some user, then you can click on this delete icon. It will ask you for confirmation. If I click cancel, it will not be deleted. If I click on delete, it will be deleted. So this is how we can create users, edit and delete you. Suppose I want to create new user, then I can provide new user detail and click on add user. It will be added the top of list. So this is how we want to implement these functionality in Firebase. Now let us check where this data is stored. So let us go to Firestore. So here we have to go to console. I have to click on my project. Then we have to go to database and here you can see that I have different data which is entered there. So there are 4 records, right? I have just modified these record in app. Now let us see live example. So here initially username is Vishakha, right? I want to change it to Vishakha Patel. So what I can do is edit this. So I will change it to this and then click save. So now you can see in live it is immediately synchronized. So as I do changes, it is updated in real time. Here in background you can see it is also updated in a Firestore database as well as in our app. So it is a real time synchronization, right? So this is how we can store data. Now we have already learned how to create these collection, document and field. So now again go back to coding part. So first we understand this Firestore _db.dart file which implements all these functionality. So first you have to import material library for user interface component as usual. Then you must import Firebase core which is needed to initialize Firebase in Flutter. So we import Firebase _core.dart. Then we have import Firestore for database operations. So we import cloud _firestore.dart and we have already put this dependency in our pubspecs.yml file. Now this main method is our entry point. So we must initialize Firebase using these 2 lines and then we have to run app. So inside run app I specify my app as my root widget. So below that I define my root widget, my app which extends stateful widgets and it stores. This is a constructor of my app. Then I override build method. Here I write down debug show check mode banner is false. You can see that banner is not displayed here. Then I have set title and I have set basic theme for app which is a blue and inside home I specify Firestore demo. So below that I have defined Firestore demo. Now main screen widget for Firestore demo extends stateful widget because we want to maintain state. This is a constructor and inside that I have to override create state method which returns instance of Firestore demo state, which is defined below that. So here I define Firestore demo state which extends state of type Firestore demo. Here for these two text field I have defined these text editing controller, which is name controller for name text box and email controller for text editing controller for email. Then I have to reference to the user collection in Firestore, right? So here I define collection reference users which points to firestore.instance.collection, and here you have to provide collection name which is users. Remember, it should match with our Firestore collection. If you want to see, these name must be provided there. Then you have to add user document to Firestore, right? So here I define method to add new user. So it is of type future, it is return type is void, and method name is add user, and it is asynchronous. Now I have first check whether name controller is empty or email controller is empty, then I cannot add that user. So I write down return. Suppose both are written there, then I can add that user. So I call users.add method. This should match with our field name, username, email, and created at, which is here, created at, email, and username. So you have to match these with Firestore. Inside username I want to provide name written in name a text field. Inside email I want to pass text of email text field, and inside created at I want to provide timestamp. So here I write down field value dot server timestamp, so that gives server time to order document proper. So after adding user I have to clear that to text field. Now let us add these new user. So when I click on this, it will be added to the my list. So here you can list, this timestamp is of just now, right? So this is how add user method works. Now here you see that after adding user, these two is cleared using this clear method. The second method I have defined is for update an existing user. Again it is a future method, its return type is void, method name is update user, and it takes three arguments: document ID, name, and email. So we cannot change document ID, but we can update name and email. So here I write down user.doc for specific document ID. I want to update username with new name and email with new email. It will update my detail immediately in data. Then if I want to delete particular document ID, I have defined delete user. So it is again future, return type is void, method name is delete user, and it takes document ID to be deleted. So here I call user.doc, and then we have to provide particular document ID and call its delete method to delete that record. Now here method to show dialog box to edit users detail. Whenever user click on this edit button, I want to show these dialog box, right? So for that we have this method show edit dialog. Now it takes three arguments: document to be displayed, for that we require document ID and existing name and existing email. So let us understand. So here I define two text editing controllers to capture these two value. For that I have defined these controller, two controller, right? Then I have called show dialog, which actually responsible for displaying dialog. So inside that I have to provide context and builder, and inside builder I return alert dialog with title edit user. So here you can see edit user. Then I have to arrange these into columns. So inside content I define column widgets with main axis size equal to main axis size dot minimum, and children is first is a name input field, right? So here I write down text field, then its controller and label text as a name that you can see here, displays name. Then another text field to display email. So we specify its controller and label text as a email, and then in action I want to display two buttons, cancel and save. So inside action I define cancel button, and on press I want to use navigator.pop so that this window is closed and I return back to home screen and its text is a cancel. Another elevated button is update user button. So its text is save, that you can see here, its text is a save, and when I click on save, which method I want to call is update user. So it takes three arguments, document ID, edit name controller.text and edit email controller.text to refer to these two value, and then if user press cancel, I want to close that dialog box, right? So in either case I need to close dialog, whether cancel is pressed or save is pressed. So I call navigator.pop, and then we have delete confirmation dialog. So whenever user click on these, I want to display delete confirmation. So similarly we have defined method to display show delete confirmation dialog. It takes document ID as an argument, and inside show dialog I provide context. Inside builder I return alert dialog with text confirm delete, that you can see here, and another text is for content, which is a confirmation message, and inside action I want two buttons, cancel and delete. So inside action I define those buttons, and when cancel is pressed I want to just close that dialog. So I write down navigator.pop and its text is cancel. Second button is delete button, and whenever it is pressed I need to call this delete user method that we have just discussed, and we have to provide document ID to perform delete, and then we have to close that dialog. So this is a method. Now inside build method we define these user interface, right? So inside build method I return scaffold, and app bar text is set to Firestore users, then see here, and in app body I want to display in column these interface, right? So inside children I specify padding, and in column manner I arrange first text field, that is name. So its controller is specified, its label text is set to name, then we specify second text field with its controller and label text is email, and then we leave some space between button and text field. So we define size box, and then we want to display add user button. So elevated button, on press we want to call add user function, and its text is add user. Now after that we have provided this divider. This is a thin line, you can see here is a divider, and after that in expanded we want to display list of user. So here I write down stream builder because I want to update this list in a real time. So to make real time list of users from Firestore, instead of builder we have to use stream builder, and here I want to specify query snapshot. So it listen to Firestore changes in real time. Now inside stream I define query users dot order by, and it displays users in order of created at. So latest users is displayed first, and descending is true, that means last displays first. So after that I have to write down dot snapshots. Now inside builder, which takes two argument, context and snapshot, I have written if snapshot dot has error. What does it mean? If something went wrong, then in text I want to display something went wrong, and if snapshot dot connection state equals connection state dot waiting, then I want to display circular progress in. But in this case there is no waiting, so it is immediately displayed without any delay, so that we cannot see here. But if some waiting is there, then we display circular progress indicator. And then we define docs, which refers to snapshot.data docs. If there are no child or no users, then it displays no user yet if this condition is true, docs.isEmp. Initially in collection there are no users, so at that time it refers empty. So at that time we display no user yet. Suppose I delete all these users, then it will display no users yet. So if there are users, I want to display that in a list. So we build list of users, so we write down return listview.builder. Now how many items we want to display? Whatever number of documents are there. So here I write down docs.length, and in item builder I want to display these icon, then title, subtitle, and in trailing I want to display these two icons. So first we define doc with particular index and user equals doc.data. So user refer to users data and we map it as a string and dynamic. So after that I write down return list style, and in leading part I want to display this icon person. So in leading I display icon.person, and in title I want to display this, which is a username. So inside username is fetch if it is not null. If it is null, then blank is fetch and display inside title. Similarly, email is fetch and display in text as a subtitle. So it is a display in a small letter. And inside trailing I want to display two icons, right? So inside trailing I specify mean axis size, and in children I specify two icons. First icon button is a icon edit and its color is blue, and on press I want to show edit dialog that we have already learned, and it takes three arguments. Whatever item you want to update, its ID, its username and its email is passed as a argument to show dialog. Similarly, we define delete icon, which is in red color, and whenever it is pressed I want to call show delete confirmation dialog, and it takes one argument, which is document.id. So this is how it works. So friends, I hope you understand how to implement CRUD operations in a Firestore and how to integrate it in a Flutter. So we define collection in Firestore, and we have used that collection with real-time synchronization in Flutter app. Next example is how to implement different authentication method in your app. So we will define three authentication method using username and password. Second, we use Google sign-in method, and third, we will use phone and OTP method. So let us understand how to do that in Visual Studio Code. So let us understand code for second app in Visual Studio Code. So here you can see this is my main file, which is a authentication demo.dart, and it used two other pages or file, which is authpage.dart and dashboard.dart. Now this file is page where user can log in or sign up, and this file refers to page shown after successful login. So dashboard refers to welcome page, and this is our user interface page for login or sign up. So I must define these two files. Before we understand the code, I want to run these app inside emulator so that you can understand proper. So I am clicking on run, it will launch that inside my emulator. So this is my user interface. Here suppose I want to sign up, then I have to provide email address and some password. So I have type email and password, and then I click on sign up. So it displays welcome and username because sign up is successful and now that user is added. Here we can log out from dashboard. Now next time I want to try that, if somebody tries to sign up again, then displays the email address is already in use by another account. So it should be unique, right? Now suppose I want to log in. Now I have already created this user, so I can click on login. If login is successful, then it will redirect me to that page. Now suppose my login is unsuccessful. Suppose I provide wrong username or password and try to log in. Then it displays the supplied authentication credential is incorrect. So nobody can log in without username and password, which is correct. We have already learned how to sign up and then log in, but suppose I don't want to sign up and use my existing Google account for sign in, then I can use this sign in with Google feature. So I am clicking on that. It will automatically sign in with existing email account because I have already logged in with this email account. It displays my Gmail account using welcome and my name. Now I am log out of, and here I can use sign in with phone. If I am not log in with Google, it will first ask me to enter my credential and then it displays this page, right? So it displays Google sign in successful because I have already logged in into emulator using this email account. Otherwise will prompt you to enter your credential. Now here we can see sign in with phone. So here I am clicking on sign in with phone. So here I have to provide phone number and then I have to click on send OTP. So it will display OTP sent. After that I can enter that dummy OTP because we want to test this in a testing mode. So I can click on this verify OTP. Now it will display this screen welcome and my phone number. So this is how it works. Now let us get back to coding part. So here you can see we have these two page must be defined before. So let us first understand auth underscore page dot dart file. So here is a auth page dart file. So basically it defines this screen, right? Inside that I have import necessary Flutter and Firebase package, and then I import custom service or pages, which is Google sign in service dot dart and phone authentication page dot dart. Now Google sign in service dot dart is a helper class to handle Google sign in, and phone authentication page is a separate page for phone number authentication. So let us first understand these two before understanding main interface. So let us go to Google sign in service dot dart. So this is a custom class. So first we need to import these package Firebase authentication, Google sign in and material dot dart, and then I define one custom class called Google sign in service, which has a two static member. Here I define one static final member Google sign in type. Its name is Google sign in and it initialized to Google sign in instance, and auth refers to Firebase authentication instance. So first we define sign in with Google. Here I define one method of type static and future, and its return type is user credential. So I define this method sign in with Google, which takes context as argument and is asynchronous method. So here inside that I define try and catch. So first step is to trigger Google sign in pop-up. So these Google user equals Google sign in dot sign in. So it will open sign in pop-up. If you are not already logged in, then it will open that sign in page, and if I cancel so that Google user equals null, then I have to return. I don't want to sign in, it means Now step 2 is to get Google authentication token. So in Google Auth, I initialize Google user dot authentication, and in step 3 I have to create Firebase credential using my token. So here I define credential equals Google authentication provider dot credential, and inside that I provide access token as a Google Auth dot access token, and ID of token is Google authentication dot ID token. So it takes two value from these authentication ID and access token. Now you have to sign in to Firebase with the Google credential. So here I return authentication dot sign in with credential, and it takes argument of type credential. Now suppose there are some error, then we must show error in a snack bar instead of printing to console. So here I define scaffold messenger dot off, then context, and then show snack bar, and we display text Google sign in error, and whatever error is that we have to display. So inside catch I define snack bar to display any authentication error I have received. So we will use these class Google sign in service dot sign in with Google method to sign in to Google. Now in sign out, what I have to do is, here I define one static method which of type future, and its return type is void sign out Google, and it is asynchronous method, and here I write down Google sign in dot sign out and authentication dot sign out, so that sign outs from both the Firebase as well as Google. So this is how Google sign in service method defines two methods, sign in with Google and sign out Google. Now let's understand other file which is phone authentication page. So for that we have to import these two packages, which is material.dart and Firebase auth.dart. Here I define one stateful widget for phone authentication page which extend stateful widgets. This is constructor for phone authentication page, and for any stateful widget we have to override create state method as usual. Here I define phone authentication page state. Now here if you have seen, when I click on these, it opens this page, right? So we are discussing this phone authentication page. So here we define two controller, one for phone number and another for OTP. So here I define phone controller and OTP controller. Initially verification ID is blank, so we must send OTP. So whenever user clicks on this send OTP button, this method will be called send OTP. It is a future method, its return type is void, and it is asynchronous method. So here I write down or call Firebase authentication dot instance dot verify phone number, and then inside phone number I have provided phone number typed by the user, and we remove any extra space using trim, and after that auto verification. So here I write down verification completed after phone authentication credential with given credential. So inside verify, so this is a auto verification. So sometimes Firebase can verify instantly without OTP. So verification completed, inside that I write down Firebase authentication dot instance dot sign in with credential, and then I have to provide credential which is defined above. So in case verification failed, for example invalid number is provided or your daily SMS quota is exceed, etc., then inside verification failed I want to display scaffold messenger dot off dot snack bar. So inside snack bar I display whatever error message I have received. So in verification failed I want to display snack bar with error message. So here I write down that. Now if OTP is sent successfully, we must display OTP sent. Inside code sent I write down set state and verification ID is set to verification ID, received, and inside snack bar I want to display OTP sent. So here whenever that button is pressed and OTP is sent, then it displays OTP sent. Now if Firebase takes too long time to auto detect the code, then inside code auto retrieval timeout I have to write down message like it takes too much time to auto detect the code. So you can handle timeout here if needed. In our case it is not needed, so I have not defined. Now let us get back to our previous file, which is a authentication page dot. So before writing code you must import these package and import these two files so that you can use Google sign in. So here I define one class auth page which extends stateful widgets. This is a constructor. Here I override create state method. Here I define state class for authentication page. We have two text editing controller, one for email and another is for password. Then we define one method sign up so that user can sign up with email and password. Inside that we need to create new user with provided email and password. So here I call Firebase authentication dot instance dot create user with email and password, which is ready to use method, and it takes two arguments, email and password. So here we have provided email and then password typed by the user without any space. And if there are some exception, we will display that inside snack bar. The second method is email or password sign in. Now this is a sign up. Remember, this is for sign up. So here I call create user with email and password method. For sign in, we have to use sign in with email and password method. So we have to again provide two value email and password to sign in. And if there are some errors, we have to display it in snack bar. Now in case of Google sign in, we have already defined two methods, right? Here we have already discussed that two methods, sign out Google and sign in with Google. So here for Google sign in, I have defined this Google sign in method of type future and its return type is void. It is asynchronous method. So we have to call custom Google sign in service, which is defined there. So here I define user credential as a final, which refers to Google sign in service dot sign in with Google, and inside that I have to provide context as a argument. Now if user credential not equals null, then if sign in is successful, we have to show success message in a snack bar. So if user credential not equals null, then we display in snack bar Google sign in successful. Otherwise we will display error message in snack bar. Then we define user interface inside build method. So we override build method and we return scaffold. Inside app bar I display fire authentication all in one. So inside body I define padding and we allow scrolling when keyboard is open using single child scroll view, and inside column I specify main axis alignment as a center, and in children I want to display this text field. So here I define text field with its controller and label text as a email, and its border is outline input border so that you can see box there. Then I define these size box to leave space between two text field, and then I define password input, its controller, label text and border. Then again I leave some space using size box, and then I display elevated button, and when this button is pressed I have to call sign up method and its text is a sign up, and then again I leave some space using size box, and then I have defined this login button. So in on press I want to call that sign in method and its text is login. Then I display this divider, and then I define elevated button dot icon method to display with icon. So on pressed I called Google sign in method. Inside icon I display login icon. Its label is sign in with Google and its style is background is red and foreground is white. Then I'll again leave some space and then I display phone authentication here. So again I have used elevated button dot icon. Whenever it is pressed, I have to go to that page which is phone authentication page. So inside on press I call navigator dot push and I return that page which is phone authentication page, and its icon is icon phone and its label is sign in with phone. So this is how my user interface is displayed. Now we have already learned how this works. Okay, so we have discussed all the files which is required to implement these functionality. So friends, we have learned how to use Firebase authentication in Flutter app to log in, sign up and using different sign in method. I hope you enjoy this demonstration. Thank you and happy learning.